After Maki left Mena's house with her daughter, Dola, Mena's world fell apart. That night, Maki prepared a delicious meal for her daughter. Finally, her years of suffering were over. But there was one big problem. Maki didn't know what to do with her daughter. Was she going to sell her and make money? Or how exactly was her golden child supposed to make her rich? Then, she remembered what happened the day Dola turned to gold. That day, Maki had been at her window watching everything. She saw when Mena touched Dola's face and how her body turned to gold. Then, an idea hit her immediately. The next day, she gathered some stones outside and instructed Dola to touch them. Just like what happened in Mena's case, the stones turned into gold. Maki was overjoyed. She quickly wrapped the stones in a tight bag and hid them under her bed. That night in her dream, she saw herself in a mansion. She saw herself wearing the exact type of dress the chief's wife wore. Maki woke up the next morning feeling like she was in heaven. She brought out a pen and a paper and started making a list of everything she wanted to achieve that month. First, I would change my wardrobe. Then I will move out of this area. After that, I will buy a new car, Maki said to herself. But then, she turned to Dola and sighed. What will I do with her? I can't let her go out. And I can't let anyone see her like this. In that case, she must be locked inside this house. I will homeschool her myself, Maki said. On the other side, Mena woke up to a life of pain and regret. I wish I had never gone out that day. God, why? Why did you allow this happen? I haven't even achieved half of what I wanted, and now we are back to square one, Mena cried. Through it all, her mother sat beside her and consoled her. Mena knew she had to do something to save herself. The old woman had told her that the gift came with a painful price, but she didn't know what it was yet. The next day, she went in search of the old woman, but when she got there, she didn't find her. Mena waited under a shed until it was 8 p.m, but still, the old woman didn't show up. She returned to the exact place every day for good 5 days, but the old woman was nowhere to be found. Then, on the 5th night, she had a dream. The old woman appeared and told her to hurry up and get back her gifts, else she will be poor forever. Mena was given 3 days to achieve this. When she woke up, she cried her eyes out. Imagine receiving a gift that makes you rich overnight, only to become poor by breaking one rule. The next morning, she packed up a small bag and left home. The only way to get back her gift is to touch Dola again at 12 noon. Meanwhile, Maki's life had changed overnight. She bought a new house in another part of the city, changed her wardrobe, and opened a big boutique. She also hired maids to take care of Dola. She instructed them never to allow her leave the house without her permission. Mena arrived at the park that day at 10 a.m. She didn't know where Maki now lived, but at least she knew the location of her new boutique. After 2 hours, she arrived at Maki's new boutique. She sat under a shed until it was night. Inside the boutique, Maki was happily attending to her rich customers. Her boutique ran from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. At exactly 10:30 p.m., Maki stepped outside. She was going home after a long day at work. As soon as she stepped into her car, Mena also entered the taxi she had hired. The taxi followed Maki that night until she arrived at her gate. Now, Mena knew where Maki lived, but how would she get access into her house? The house was heavily guarded, and Dola wasn't even allowed out of her room. Mena left that night for a hotel she had booked. 1 day is already gone, and now she had just 2 days left. The next morning, Mena arrived at Maki's house at 7 a.m. The moment she saw Maki's car leaving for work, she came out of her hiding place. Mena stood there confused. How exactly am I going to enter this house? Mena asked. She stood in a corner for 2 hours, thinking of what to do and praying for one of the maids to come out at least. Then around 9 a.m., she saw a tired-looking woman walking towards the gate. Mena immediately ran towards her. "Hello, madam. How are you doing? You're looking so tired. Is everything alright?" Mena asked. The woman didn't hold back her words. "I'm tired. I come here working every day, yet I get paid peanuts." An idea immediately hit Mena. "Okay, what if I take off your burden for today? I'm a good teacher. Let me help you teach madam's daughter," Mena said. She immediately handed the woman 20,000 naira, the exact amount she was paid every month. The teacher collected the money happily and handed Mena her gate pass. She had already decided to stop teaching Dola after that day. Mena walked into the house with boldness. She knew she had to finish up on time before Maki got back. When she entered the living room, the maids were surprised to see her. Mena quickly introduced herself as the new teacher. "Madam fired the other teacher and hired me. I'll be the one teaching Dola from now on," she said. The moment she mentioned Dola, the maids believed her. But there was one maid, Buki, who suspected that something was wrong. Before Maki made a change to anything, especially something related to Dola, she always informed the staff. One of the maids took Mena to where the lesson would be held and left. The moment Dola saw Mena, she ran to hug her, but Mena quickly covered her mouth to stop her from shouting. Mena immediately went into the lesson to avoid any suspicion. She was patiently waiting until it was 12 noon to do what she came for. But around 11:30, she heard a loud horn at the gate. "Mommy is back!" Dola screamed. At that moment, Mena's body froze. Why did Maki return home so early? Could it be that someone had informed her? Oh my God. Seconds later, Mena heard loud footsteps approaching. She checked the time and it was 11:35. She began to panic. She had just few minutes left. "What are you doing in my house?" Maki asked Mena angrily. Mena went to her knees and begged. Then she started narrating stories about how their lives changed since everything happened. She was trying to buy as much time as she could. "Please, Maki, you can't just let me suffer like this. At least compensate me for making you rich. My mother is in the hospital. She's very sick." "I don't have time for all these silly jokes. Take your things and leave my house." Mena checked her wristwatch again and it was 11:50. She needed to buy more time. Moments later, a maid walked in and handed Maki a package. Her eyes lit up the moment she saw it. It was a visa application. She opened it immediately and saw that her visa had been approved. "You are so lucky I'm in a good mood today," she said to Mena. "I will give you 50,000 naira. That's all I can spare." "Thank you so much, but I won't be needing it." "What do you mean by that?" Maki asked. "How do you expect to reap from where you didn't sow? My kindness brought me this luck, and you think you can steal it from me? No way." Mena turned to Dola, who was sitting down, and touched her. Immediately, her body returned to normal. "Have a good night rest," Mena said, and walked away. Maki stood there, still unable to understand what was happening, but Mena was already inside the taxi, heading home. Minutes later, Maki received a call that her boutique had suddenly collapsed. Slowly, the house she was standing began to shake. She quickly grabbed Dola and ran outside. Right before her eyes, the mansion she had bought turned to sand. Mena arrived home safely. She hugged her mother and the two rejoiced once again. She tried touching some items in the house, just to see if her powers were truly back. And immediately she touched the cup on the table, it turned into gold. 2 days later, Mena and her mother moved out of the area. They sold their restaurant and boutique and moved far away. Maki, on the other hand, returned to the house she had abandoned. She regretted her actions and wished she had shared the blessings with Mena. Now, this story is a lesson that reminds us that greed can make us forget kindness and gratitude. Mena received her blessing because she was willing to sacrifice the little she had to help someone in need. But Maki saw her blessing and wanted it for herself. In the end, the wealth she gained through greed didn't last. This story also teaches us that we should never envy another person's blessing or allow greed to control our hearts. What is gained through kindness is far more valuable than what is gained through selfishness. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.